first story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not wanting to give my ex's money for our kid until I see a bill? I, 32 male, have 2 kids with my ex, 34 female, 7 female, and 5 female. When we broke up, I did not want to deal with court-ordered child support, so we agreed to an unofficial amount of financial compensation. However, my ex knew I didn't want to deal with the courts and used that as a veiled threat whenever she wanted something. Anytime I got something for myself or she heard about a new promotion at work, she demanded copies of my pay stubs for the last 3 months and wants half. If I objected, she would pull the, well, maybe we should just let a judge decide. After 2 years of this crap, I told her I simply could not afford to keep paying the amounts she wanted and afford rent/food. She thought I was lying, even though I showed her my pay stubs and filed for child support. My parents were kind enough to lend me money for a decent attorney so I'd have a decent change. But my God, I never would have thought that courts would rule in my favor. Based off of my income, the courts determined that I had been overpaying for each child and ordered that I could pay a lesser amount, and that my ex couldn't request for more until my children were 9 and 7. It was almost determined that I wouldn't be legally obligated to start paying the new amount for 6 months. Literally, after the ruling, we were standing outside the doors of the courtroom. My ex and her attorney approached me and asked me to pay a higher amount. I shrugged and said that it would be best not to go against the judge's ruling and left. Finally, I was able to get my own place, nicer, still used, car and clothes. My ex has been calling and texting me for money, saying the kids needed this and that. I told her that I'll pay for the necessities when the kids were with me, but she needed to figure everything out herself for the time being. She raged at me and called me a deadbeat, and then started dragging me on social media. To defend myself, I made a post about how the courts ruled, and attached screenshots of her texts always using the threat of the courts to get her way. I then finally stated that I do want to provide for my children, so if there's anything that they need, to give me copies of the bills or an expense report, and I will look into paying for things directly. My ex and her family are saying that I'm the a-hole and controlling for wanting to know about her finances, but I don't see it as any different from how she treated me. So, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Most states don't require you to pay for anything outside child support, and half of uninsured health costs to the other parent. The court said what they said. The kids are on my health insurance, and that's one of the reasons why the judge lowered the child support. Not the a-hole. It was dumb not to go through the courts from day one for this very reason, since it gave her a reason to basically steal from you. It sounds like she was hustling you for child support and some under-the-table alimony, but the judge saw to it that you legally are only responsible for your children. As long as you take care of them, she has no leg to stand on. If she needs money for something child-related, she should have to provide documentation because she burned your trust down. So why wouldn't you question it? She's just mad her ATM suddenly has opinions and questions. Agreed. This post is exactly why I always encourage people to deal with child support and visitation through the court system. It protects both parties. Opie, you're not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. But why the hell did you go to the court before if she was asking that much? He seemed to think going to court would make the situation even worse for him. Hopefully this was a lesson, albeit an expensive one. Go to court day one to get things figured out legally. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing any more communication with a girl who's not my daughter? Years ago, in my early 20s, I was contacted by my ex from high school, telling me he had a daughter, Sarah, who was already 6 at the time. It was a pretty huge shock to me. I was still young, and had no idea how to be a father to a young kid. But I met her anyways. I know it was pretty dumb of me to have just taken my ex's word for it, but I genuinely thought Sarah was mine. I met Sarah a couple times a month for 4 months in order to get to know her. Even took her to Disneyland once. My brothers had known about her, but they were surprised when they found out I never asked for a paternity test. It didn't even occur to me until we had that talk. So right away, I told my ex I wanted a paternity test. And what do you know? Kid wasn't mine. That's when she confessed she knew who the father was, but he died when Sarah was a few months old, and she just wanted her daughter to have a dad. I stopped having contact right after, and told her to find another father figure for her daughter. Through the power of social media, Sarah, now 18, found me and initiated contact. At first, I had no idea who she was until she mentioned ex's name. As it turned out, my ex never told her the truth, only that I had to go, whatever that means. But Sarah's been trying to find me, I guess, and wanted us to have contact. I didn't want to be the one to tell Sarah, so I said to speak with your mom about why I wasn't around. Ex finally told her, I guess, because Sarah messaged me again asking if we could meet. She said she knows I'm not her father, but I'm the only one she knows and would still like for us to have something between us. I told her it would be better if we didn't. Yes, I was in her life for a short period, but we are both strangers now. I have my own life with my own family, and she should focus on making her own family with people she cares about. Sarah was clearly not happy with it. She sent me more messages and tried to video call me. I told her we won't be having more contact and blocked her. A few days ago, I found out she contacted my other family on Facebook, my sisters and one of my brothers. They heard her side of this and are saying I'm being too hard on a kid. My sister says she may not be mine, but to her I am still the only father figure she had in her life, so why not continue being that for her? Feels so insane to me. I have a wife and a son. She's not my daughter. It's hard to see how not wanting any more contact between is something bad. I told my family they're free to take up the mantle if they want, but I won't have anything else to do with her. But their argument is she wants me as a father figure in her life, and that's why I'm being too heartless with her. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. 4 months 12 years ago does not make you a father figure. Seems also likely that your ex has been spinning plenty of lies during her daughter's childhood. Seems that way. I have no idea why she would. What good could that have done to her daughter, making her think her dad walked out instead of saying I wasn't her father to begin with? Not the a-hole. Seems kinda crazy to me. It is said that her desperate search for fatherly connection will not stop, but will likely lead her down a dark path. My heart breaks for that girl. I have a feeling that those 4 months when Opie was her dad were her best childhood memories. That said, Opie is not a a-hole, and it's probably best to stay away from her. Not a a-hole. Her mother sounds like a nutcase by fabricating such a lie, and I personally would be delicate with her daughter. It sounds like the apple may not have fallen far from the tree. Not the a-hole. I don't think your family's doing her any favors by encouraging her illusions of being connected to you. I do have sympathy for her. Sounds like she spent her life believing you were her dad and can't let go of that emotional headspace. I hope she gets therapy to work through it. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for going to visit my ex's family with him and his girlfriend, even though his girlfriend asked me not to? I have a 10-month-old baby with my ex. In January, he asked me if I would be willing to go visit his family with him so his elderly grandparents could finally meet our son. My ex has been really helpful and flexible since our son was born, so I agreed, since I felt like I owed him. My ex got back with the ex-girlfriend he had before me when our son was 5 months. She found out my ex had asked me to come on the trip and messaged me to ask me to refuse. She said she wanted this trip to be just about them, and she needed the opportunity to mend her relationship with his family. I didn't know about her history with his family until we were already there, but even if I did, I wouldn't have been willing to risk the good co-parenting relationship we had for her. I ended up ignoring her messages and went on a trip. The trip was interesting. His family were very nice to me, but dismissive towards his girlfriend. When we got back, she sent me a long message asking me if I was happy about ruining her one shot at fixing things, and she accused me of trying to get back with my ex. I do feel bad because his family weren't very welcoming to her, and I feel like they used me/my son as a shield to avoid having to make an effort with her. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. She is the girlfriend. You are the mother of his child. If she wants to be anything more than the girlfriend, she will need to learn to fit in with your co-parenting and family dynamics. And let's be honest, if her relationship with his family is that bad, one trip was not going to fix it. That last line is exactly what I was thinking. Holy crap! I just found Opie's comment about why the family dislikes her, and you are definitely right that this trip was never going to fix it. Seriously, why he took the ex back is a mystery. According to his cousin, their family hosts a huge New Year's Eve party where they invite all of their friends, family and business colleagues. 2 years ago, she wanted to wear this grandmother's necklace to the party, and the family told her no since it was a gift from the grandfather on their wedding. So she stole it and turned up wearing it and caused a huge scene. He broke up with her after that. Between that theft and the texting behind her boyfriend's back, this chick sounds legit crazy as hell. Lol, why does this person even have your number? Text back, I have a child with X, and he wanted that child to meet his grandparents. If you wanted to cultivate a relationship with his family, you need to talk to him about arranging a private visit, instead of going behind his back to sabotage his plans to have his child meet his grandparents. Furthermore, if you don't want me to lecture you on how you should be behaving, you can go ahead and delete my number. Note, do not do this if you hate drama. I wouldn't text anything to her. I would just take screenshots of her texts and forward them to my ex without any comment from me. Just pictures. Girlfriend is the ex's problem. He should deal with her, not OP. It's not OP's job to put a leash on her. Not a-hole. Not a-hole. You put your son first, as it's your job too. Even though your son will not remember the trip, it was important to his family and you did the right thing. Co-parenting isn't easy, and maintaining that relationship is important for you and your son. Also, she should have told her boyfriend if she was uncomfortable. She shouldn't have put you on the spot by messaging you. That was between him and her, not you. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to get my pregnant wife fruit snacks and demanding she do more chores? Alright Reddit, here we go. My 29 male, wife 27 female is 24 weeks pregnant, and so far it has been a fairly easy pregnancy, according to her and her doctor, not making assumptions of course. I've done my best to be a good husband. I work full-time, started doing all the chores, cooking/cleaning/pet care, and of course, try my best to accommodate her cravings. She has been taking it easy and spends most of her day relaxing. She says she's never felt better. Being completely honest, I'm starting to get a little burnt out. I love my wife and want her to be comfortable while pregnant, but working full-time and doing 100% of the chores is very draining. I recently had 2 separate conversations asking if she would be willing to do 80-20 chore split instead, but both times she got offended. She says that it would stress her out and possibly harm the baby, which scared me. I don't want anything to happen to our baby. So of course, I did push it. Yesterday morning, 2 a.m., my wife woke me up and asked me if I could go to the store for fruit snacks. She was craving them badly. I have made many late nights runs, but this week has been so stressful for me. I worked overtime the entire weekend and a deadline is approaching. I told her I was sorry, but I really needed to rest. I was exhausted. She did not like this answer. First, she tried to beg more, but I kept saying no. This went on for half an hour. Then she started crying, telling me what a horrible husband I was being. She also said she's scared to see me as a father if this is how selfish I am. I snapped at her. I told her I've been taking care of 100% of the responsibilities for the past 6 months. She's been sitting on her phone every single day and hasn't had to lift a finger. Then I said I was done doing 100% of the chores and we need a more even split because I was losing hair from stress. I will admit I had a tone and was obviously irritated. This caused her to cry more, and she kicked me out to the couch. This has caused a huge rift between us. She was pissed at me the entire day and locked me out of the bedroom tonight. My mother-in-law has texted me to call me an a-hole. They both said the stress I am putting on my wife will hurt the baby, so now I feel super guilty. I need perspective. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Most women literally hold on to their full-time jobs 6 months into their pregnancy and beyond. Why is she not even capable of doing light housework? The fact that she pulled it would harm the baby out of nowhere at being asked to take on even the smallest of responsibility is so manipulative. Her saying you not bending to her whims makes you a bad father was totally out of line too. Never forget, you are both the child's parents. You get to evaluate her as a mother and a spouse as much as she does you. What does her current behavior say about what kind of mother and partner she is? Edited to add, OP, I hope you are seeing the literal dozens and dozens of mothers who replied to this comment, sharing their stories of higher risk pregnancies, more hectic home situations, and more demanding jobs than your wife, who continued to work and contribute to their households throughout their pregnancies with no adverse effects, all the way up to the month/week of labor. This is what a loving and respectful marriage should look like. I am honestly a bit afraid of how she will act when our baby is born. I can't do 100% of the childcare, 100% of the chores, and bring in 100% of the income. She has acted this way before, but usually we're able to talk it out and she will start doing her share again. Now she's just outright refusing and getting angry. Your wife is not being fair. I am also pregnant and I had a really bad start. HG, several hospital visits. If you Google pregnant HG, you'll get the gist. I've since mostly recovered, and I'm a bit further along than your wife. I do the weekly shopping and only leave the bag lifting to my husband. Heavy lifting can be harmful. I painted the baby room. I cook. I am cleaning the house. I work full-time. If my body tells me to rest, I rest, but I do not take advantage of my husband. If I crave avocados, I go to the store and get avocados. If I crave stuff at night, I ignore it and I do not wake up my husband. My husband will do anything for me, and he did so in the 2 months I was severely ill. I didn't need to lift a finger, and he was also scrubbing my back in the shower to make me feel better. He is the most dedicated man I know, which is just one of the reasons I would never take advantage of his love and generosity. OP, you really need to sit your wife down. Well, she probably already is sitting down, and have a real good conversation about what is acceptable and what is not, and how you expect things to go once the baby is born. Right after the birth, she'll need more help, of course, since her body is recovering, but that doesn't mean you should be the only one doing the diapers. It sounds like getting pregnant was a mutual decision. She needs to mature very quickly now because she took on a huge responsibility, and that needs to be shared equally, not a whole. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.
Would I be the a-hole if I keep siding with my grandparents in my mom's lawsuit against them? My mom is suing my grandparents so she can get $250,000 out of the college and future funds my grandparents saved for me, 17 male, and my brother, 15 male. They're our dad's parents. He died when we were little kids, and I guess they started saving where he couldn't. Mom got married again 4 years after Dad died. We have a step-sibling and 2 half-siblings. The reason Mom wants the money from the college and future funds is because a year ago, one of my half-siblings was diagnosed with a medical condition that can cause massive bone issues. There's a surgery that can help, but it costs a lot of money. And even with it, my half-sibling will need a wheelchair and other medical equipment for a while. My mom wants money for the wheelchair and the surgery, so she asked my grandparents for the money 5 months ago, and they said no. Then she told me and my brother we needed to get the money to her. She said the rest can stay, but she needs the $250,000. We said no, and we were grounded for a month. Mom got a lawyer to try and make my grandparents give her the money. She said anything that was mine and my brother's, she had a right to decide how it was used. Their lawyer said no. That's when Mom filed the lawsuit, and I told her she was wrong when I found out about it. Mom was pretty mad about it, but she was furious when my brother said the same thing. We haven't wanted her to do this at all. I told her the money is our grandparents, and our half-sibling isn't related to our grandparents. So why would they pay for this stuff? Mom said that might be true, but we're our half-siblings' brothers, and we should be willing to use the money for a need. She said we should be going out of our way to advocate for our little sibling. I told her it shouldn't be on us, and I told her I would always side with my grandparents in this. I told her it wasn't our fault, and it wasn't okay to force this like she is. I told her I hoped she'd lose the lawsuit and she would never get the money from us or our grandparents. My mom has tried to get my grandparents to give in so she can drop the lawsuit. She and her husband have told me and my brother we should be on their side and should be helping them in court, not helping our grandparents. Her husband said if we hate them all so much, we should leave. Mom told him no, but that we should love our sibling enough to hand the money over. She said me, my brother, and grandparents were only taking Dad's death out on a child by drawing a line over money that could help improve their life so much. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Your mother's the a-hole. Those funds are meant for you and your brother for college, not your step-siblings. She's also an a-hole for a frivolous lawsuit against her in-laws. This post literally has me fuming. I'm sorry about your dad's passing. Can you go live with your grandparents? I could probably leave and not have it cause too much trouble, but it would leave my brother behind to deal with the worst of this alone. Any way to get your brother out? It's not that likely. It would have to be dangerous for him to stay to get him out, and it's not, even if it's not a great place to be. It isn't your fault your mother and stepfather can't afford to care for their child. Why don't they have insurance? You are so close to 18 and freedom. Don't let them steal your future. Not the a-hole. They couldn't afford insurance, so we've been uninsured for like 3 or 4 years now. Not the a-hole. She doesn't want you to leave now because she is collecting your social security payments from your dad to prop up their finances. If you moved in with your grandparents, the checks would go to them instead. I'm sure she is worried that her other child might not get the medical care he needs, and that his life will become exponentially worse, but demanding money from people not related to her child and trying to pull it away from her children, who will grow up with no support from their deceased father for the rest of their lives except for financial help from his parents. Because it is easier than arranging a payment plan with a hospital or trying to get secondary Medicaid to help with the costs, is just sad. She should be asking her own family and her husband's family for financial support, or put that energy into setting up and promoting a GoFundMe, which, in this situation, would probably garner donations from strangers to help a child with a devastating medical diagnosis. It's unfortunate that our medical system is so broken. People have suggested they start a GoFundMe, and a few of Mom's friends even said they donate. But she went to my grandparents and expected them to pay. She's ignoring the other options they have because she feels like it's owed, or something crazy like that. I'm glad Dad couldn't leave us anything, or she would have totally stolen it. Next story. Am I the a-hole for protesting my parents having more kids by not doing as many chores as I did before? My parents have 8 kids including me, 17 male. In order of age, it goes me, Amy, 13, B, 11, Cal 9, Dex 8, Eva 7, Finn 6, and Gwen 2. Dex and Eva aren't my parents' biological kids. Their biological mom was my mom's best friend, and when she died, Mom and Dad adopted them like Mom's best friend wanted. It's been a couple of years since my parents adopted them. Last month, my parents told me and my siblings they were having another baby. This will be kid number 9 for them, and the bedrooms are already split between a boy's room and a girl's room. And I'm relied upon a lot for stuff, which my parents consider all my chores. I don't drive or have a car, but I walk the siblings who go to school there and back every day. I help with homework and any school projects that need to be done. Twice a week, I walk them to the free activity center for kids under 14 because my parents want them to have extracurriculars, but can't afford the paid ones and don't want them in school activities. If any of them need to go somewhere after school, that's my job to get them there. When we don't have school, I have to make lunch and dinner Monday to Friday and babysit all the kids. I have to keep the house clean, which means vacuuming, dusting, cleaning both bathrooms, taking out the trash, picking up after my siblings, and putting things back that they take out. This is an everyday thing. Most of the time, I do everyone's laundry too. Mom used to do it more, but she's been leaving that for me more and more. When Mom and Dad want to grocery shop, I either have to babysit or go along and make sure my siblings behave. My parents make me update the weekly schedule so they know what's going on. They never tell me if things change. It's all supposed to be on me to keep track of. I have to tell my parents if my siblings need something for school or if we need cleaning supplies at home. If we order takeout and they don't want to pay for delivery, they'll have me go pick it up. We get takeout a lot, unless I'm off school. These are all the things my parents consider to be my chores. Not all of them are constant, but more of this stuff gets dumped on me than before. When one of my parents does something off this list, they complain that I'm stressing them out worse. Whenever Mom does laundry now, she makes it sound like I had all the kids and expected her to clean up after them. They get really angry when we're late to school and they get calls, but I have to walk everyone, and not all my siblings behave well. My parents were angry at me last year for telling my school what was going on when I was quizzed about college and other stuff. I told the guidance counselor and school counselor everything, and they called my parents. My parents told me I was ungrateful and that they provide so much more for me than other kids my age have in poor countries, so I should be thankful I get to take care of my family for them. All that stuff made me explode when Mom said she was pregnant again. I was in a total WTF state of mind because WTF? We don't have enough room for all of us as it is, but they want to add another kid and expect me to step up more and have 2 kids not going to school that I take care of. It made me feel like they keep having kids because they have me, so I stopped. They tried punishing me, but I stopped. I protested them having more kids by not doing anything. I walk to school alone, walk home from school alone, do my own homework, don't clean up or make food or do anything. My parents tried to punish me for it, and I just didn't care, so they dropped it. I talked to my guidance counselor more, and we talked about community college or trades since I won't get the grades for a scholarship and don't have the money for other college options. My parents ended up really pissed off at me because my siblings' behavior got worse when I stopped doing everything. None of them ever did chores and don't want to, and my parents don't want to fight, so they're stuck doing everything and complain so much. I enjoy it, but they said I should be ashamed for doing this. They said my new sibling will feel like crap when they realize I didn't want them, and that my siblings are the ones who will suffer most because I'm doing nothing. They said I'm supposed to look out for them as the eldest sibling. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. On the plus side, in a year you will be a legal adult and can move out. Start planning and saving money now. It's less than a year, and I think I'll have to leave as soon as my birthday comes because my parents will make things even more impossible when I turn 18. They'll remind me I should drop out to help the family more. Do not drop out. Are they crazy? They expect to give up your future and life to be their free nanny and housemaid? Run away the second you turn 18, kid. They've told me for a while that I should focus more on the family and less on school. We even argued before over me taking time away from chores for homework because I don't get the time to do mine when my siblings do theirs. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not using my legal last name because my mom changed it when she married my stepfather when I didn't want her to? My father was a POS, straight up a POS, and I don't feel sad that he's dead. Even his own family, parents, siblings, cousins, all agree he's a POS. But his family has always been the best to me, 17 male and my sister 14 female. We actually lived with Grandma and Grandpa for 2 months after our father died because our mom had some stuff to work through. I was 5 and my sister was 2. They'd babysit us after school and whenever Mom needed a babysitter. 2 years after my father died, my mom married my stepfather, and they changed mine and my sister's last name to match his last name because Mom took it. When Mom told me about it, I told her I wanted to keep my last name. She told me it would be better if we had a family name and to not have the association with our father. I told her I liked having the same name as Grandma and Grandpa. She told me it would hurt my stepfather's feelings if we refused to take his name. I asked him, and he said he didn't understand why I'd want to keep the name of my father. He told me he'd adopt me if it would make it easier, but I said no and that it wasn't about my father. It was about Grandma and Grandpa. My stepfather shut down the conversation and told me it was happening, and as a kid, I had no say in the matter. I came home from school one day, and my mom was cheering that we all had the same name now. She told me what people called me at school, the doctor, and other places would change. It was annoying, and being so young, I thought I could make people call me what I wanted, but that only worked for first names. Eventually, I worked out a deal with teachers where I could use the OG name casually, but for assignments and PT conferences, it would be the new name. My friends kept calling me by my old last name, and my mom and stepfather tried to correct them, and the friends of my parents. It became a whole mess. When my sister went to school, she did the same thing as me, which angered my mom and stepfather so much. They said she was too young when it was changed for her to care, and it was clear she was copying me. I refused to stop. I have less than a year until I'm 18, and I still use my old last name with friends, with my grandparents, and casually at school. All my documents have the new one for now. I'm changing it back when I turn 18. My grandparents know and told me they'd help if that's what I wanted. My mom realized about 5 weeks ago that I was planning to do that, and she told my stepfather. They made a big deal out of it. They said I was disrespecting our family and being a bad influence on my sister because she was only copying me with all of this and learning to treat the man who stepped up like crap. I told Mom she changed it when I didn't want her to, so I won't use the name or keep it when I don't have to. My stepfather said it was important to him and he won't ever try to be a father figure to me if I go back to my old last name. He said I'm his son and will be the person to carry on the name to the next generation, and changing it back will end his name. I told him it was never the name. They forced it, but they couldn't force me to keep it as an adult. I told him the name was never about my father, but about the family who was there to help us whenever we needed it. And I said I wanted to honor them and keep that connection alive because of the love I have for them. He told me he had done everything they had and more. And if that's really my stance, then he wasted his time and money because I'll never appreciate him like he deserves. He said he always got the feeling I resented him, and I admitted I did because of the name thing, and the way he'd get real weird because we loved our extended family and didn't want to let them go. I told him he made it all worse. He said he should have been enough and that he had a family to offer us too. Mom told me the name thing will change everything and that I could at least be respectful enough to use my actual name while it's legally my name. She said I'm being juvenile in my stubbornness. Am I the a-hole? Your mother and stepfather are being super unreasonable. Now you get to choose legally anyway, not the a-hole. When you turn 18, it's your choice. One of my high school friend's 18th birthday gift to himself was a court filing to change his name. Not the a-hole at all. Your name is yours. My ex left, I chose to go back to my maiden name. My daughter wanted to change her name to be the same as her uncle and grandma, and me, but she was all about Gran and her uncle. I did it unofficially for a while, to be certain she was happy, and after a year I did the papers. Incidentally, I still kept her dad's name as a middle name. He's still absent, but that's all part of her identity, and it's not my place to erase that. Your mom and stepdad are really out of order changing your name. And what's stepdad's nonsense about carrying his name for posterity? He has a child. She can keep his and carry it forward. You're not even of his blood, so it's not carrying anything of his. Your mother should have never done this, and it just pushed you farther away. Change your name back to the family name, and if your stepdad and mom give you endless grief over it, just distance yourself from them too. Last story. Am I the a-hole for saying to my partner that my stepdaughter needs to make her own meals? I, 46 female, have been with my partner, 52 male, for 11 years. We have shared custody of his 2 children, 17 female and 15 male, and also share custody of one of my children, 15 male. My 17-year-old son lives with us full-time. My issue is that my partner's daughter has huge food issues. She has no diversity in her diet, won't try anything new, and we basically live off chicken and mince when she is here. She won't eat fruit and only has very basic vegetables, carrot, lettuce, and cucumber. I'm so sick of the same meals every week. I can't even eat the spaghetti bolognese anymore, and everything I cook for the family is fatty and horrible. My kids are sick of it, and so am I. I have asked my partner dozens of times over the years to get her into some food therapy program, but he has just ignored my requests. I am a busy mom with a full-time job. I don't want to make individual meals for her. She will be 18 next month, so I can't see a reason why she can't sort herself out. Am I the a-hole for saying to my partner that she needs to sort her own meals out so that we can eat normally again? You are not the a-hole, and I would not ask your partner. I would inform him that this is what is going to start happening. She can go get herself a Happy Meal with McNuggets or whatever, but the rest of you are going to start having normal meals. She can eat however she wants to, but she does not get to hold the entire family hostage to her weird dietary preferences. Keep the things she eats on hand, so she will have something to eat, but she can fix it herself. My kids aged 11, 14, 17, and 19 all contribute to cooking, to a degree age-based. We agree on basic menus, but since everyone has different tastes, we have things on the side. Example, spaghetti. The meat left separate and we have different sauce options. Poke bowls, tacos, everything is self-serve. Salad meal add veg and protein. Everyone has taste and that's legit. Also, everyone has to help. I work full-time and am not a maid.